As March unfolded its welcoming arms, the town of Willow Creek, nestled amidst ancient forests and whispering hills, prepared to celebrate International Women's Day with zeal. Streets adorned with banners flaunting empowering slogans and vibrant hues echoed with laughter and anticipation. However, lurking beneath the festive facade, an ominous chill hung in the air, whispering secrets of past horrors. Among the celebrants was a group of friends, Ava, Lily, Mia, and Sarah, who decided to spend their Women's Day weekend at an old cabin deep within the woods. Ignoring the locals' warnings of eerie happenings in the area, they embarked on their journey, fueled by excitement and the promise of a memorable getaway. The journey was smooth initially as they ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, their laughter mingling with the rustle of leaves. Yet, as twilight descended, the forest seemed to awaken with a sinister energy. The once familiar path twisted into shadowy alleys, and the air grew thick with an inexplicable dread. Arriving at the cabin, they were greeted by an eerie silence that enveloped the surroundings like a shroud. The cabin, weathered by time and neglect, stood as a testament to forgotten memories and untold secrets. Unfazed by its decrepit appearance, the friends lit the fireplace, eager to create their own warmth amidst the encroaching darkness. As the night deepened, strange occurrences began to unfold. Muffled whispers echoed through the corridors, accompanied by phantom footsteps that danced across the creaking floorboards. Shadows danced menacingly against the flickering flames, casting doubt upon their sanity. Ava, the boldest of the group, dismissed their fears as mere superstition, attributing the unsettling events to overactive imaginations. However, her facade of bravado crumbled when Lily, with trembling hands, unveiled an old journal discovered amidst the cabin's dusty belongings. The journal, adorned with faded ink and cryptic symbols, chronicled the tragic tale of a group of women who sought refuge in the same cabin decades ago. Bound by sisterhood and the pursuit of freedom, they celebrated Women's Day with fervor, unaware of the malevolent force lurking in the shadows. As the night unfolded, the women were plagued by nightmares and apparitions, each more horrifying than the last. Desperate to escape the clutches of terror, they attempted to flee the cabin, only to find themselves trapped in a labyrinth of fear and despair. In their final moments, they made a solemn vow to warn future generations of the darkness that dwelled within. The revelation sent shivers down their spines as they realized the dire implications of their predicament. Trapped in a nightmare not of their making, they clung to each other, their bonds of friendship offering solace amidst the encroaching darkness. Determined to break the curse that bound them, they scoured the journal for clues, their trembling fingers tracing the faded words in search of salvation. Yet, with each passing moment, the barrier between the living and the dead grew thinner, as malevolent spirits manifested with vengeance in their eyes. In a last-ditch effort to appease the restless souls, they lit candles in honor of the women who had perished, their flickering flames casting a protective aura against the encroaching darkness. With bated breath, they awaited the dawn, praying for deliverance from the nightmare that had ensnared them. As the first rays of sunlight pierced the horizon, a sense of relief washed over them, their ordeal finally coming to an end. Yet, as they emerged from the cabin, they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, the forest whispering secrets that echoed through the ages. And so, as the town of Willow Creek continued its Women's Day celebrations with renewed vigor, the friends carried with them a solemn reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. A reminder that some horrors are best left undisturbed. In the quaint town of Oak Ridge, nestled between rolling hills and a serene river, the arrival of March heralded not only the promise of spring, but also the anticipation of International Women's Day. Streets adorned with banners in hues of purple and white, celebrating the strength and resilience of women, seemed to shimmer under the gentle sunlight. However, beneath the veneer of celebration, a sinister undercurrent pulsed, hinting at ancient secrets waiting to be unearthed. Among the town's inhabitants was a group of friends, Ella, Grace, Sophie, and Rachel, bound by their shared love for adventure and a penchant for the unknown. Eager to escape the monotony of daily life, they embarked on a weekend getaway to an isolated cabin nestled deep within the forest, their laughter echoing through the trees as they ventured into the unknown. The journey was fraught with excitement and trepidation, the winding roads leading them deeper into the heart of the wilderness. Yet, as dusk descended and the shadows stretched ominously across the landscape, a sense of unease crept into their hearts, like tendrils of fog snaking through the underbrush. Arriving at the cabin, they were greeted by an eerie silence that seemed to envelop the surroundings like a shroud. The cabin, its timbers weathered by time and neglect, stood as a silent sentinel amidst the encroaching darkness, its windows reflecting the waning light with an almost ethereal glow. Undeterred by the foreboding atmosphere, the friends lit the fireplace, its crackling flames casting dancing shadows against the walls. As they settled in for the night, exchanging tales of past adventures and dreams yet to be realized, they were unaware of the malevolent presence that lingered just beyond the reach of their senses. As the night deepened, strange occurrences began to unfold. Whispers echoed through the corridors, their words twisted and distorted as if spoken by unseen lips. Objects seemed to move of their own accord, their ghostly dance accompanied by the faint rustle of unseen hands. Ella, the group's fearless leader, brushed off their concerns with a confident smile, attributing the unsettling events to nothing more than overactive imaginations. Yet, as the shadows lengthened and the whispers grew louder, even her resolve began to waver, like a candle flickering in the face of an encroaching storm. It was Grace who first stumbled upon the journal, hidden amidst a pile of dusty tomes in the cabin's attic. Bound in weathered leather and adorned with faded symbols, its pages spoke of a dark and twisted past, a past that threatened to ensnare them in its malevolent grasp. The journal told of a group of women who had sought refuge in the same cabin decades ago, their spirits bound by tragedy and betrayal. As they celebrated Women's Day with laughter and song, they were unaware of the darkness that lurked just beyond the safety of their sanctuary, a darkness that hungered for their souls. As the night wore on, the women were plagued by nightmares and visions, each more horrifying than the last. Desperate to escape the clutches of terror, they attempted to flee the cabin, only to find themselves trapped in a maze of shadows and despair. In their final moments, they made a solemn vow to warn future generations of the horrors that lay dormant within the cabin's walls, their spirits bound to the earth until their task was complete. As the truth unfolded before them, the friends realized the gravity of their situation, their hearts heavy with the weight of ancient sins. With trembling hands, they lit candles in honor of the women who had perished, their flickering flames casting a protective aura against the encroaching darkness. But even as they sought refuge in the flickering light, the shadows seemed to grow stronger, their tendrils creeping ever closer with each passing moment. And as the first rays of sunlight pierced the horizon, illuminating the forest with a golden glow, the friends knew that their ordeal was far from over. For in the heart of Oak Ridge Forest, where the boundary between the living and the dead grew thin, the spirits of the past lingered still, their whispers echoing through the ages, a reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed, lest they awaken the darkness that lies dormant within us all. I'm a mother of 3, and so our grocery bills are quite high. My husband works at a tech company, and I currently stay at home raising the kids who are 10, 7, and 3. I go food shopping at least twice a week, and I usually go to the King Kullen near our house, though I sometimes go to the nearby Target as well. Those are 2 of a very small list of grocery stores in our quiet town. To give as much context as possible, we're an Italian family and I'm currently 40 years old. This happened not even a year ago when I was 39. I was running behind on shopping one day, so I went much later than usual. The King Kullen by us closes at 10, and it was definitely past 9 o'clock already, so I hurried over to the store with my flyers on coupons. The kids were complaining about a lack of food in the house, so I had to get a quick grocery run-in. Most days I'd have to go shopping with my 3-year-old daughter, Haley. Since it was late and my husband was home from work at this time, For once, I was able to go shopping alone, which I consider a luxury. I got to the King Cullen, which was pretty void of people at this hour since it would soon be closing. I grabbed a cart and quickly started doing my laps down the aisles and grabbing whatever was on my list and whatever was on sale. I was in the cereal aisle when I got a tap on my shoulder, which startled me. I turned and saw a very tan man about my height with a baseball cap on, a black goatee, and a red zipper-up hoodie and jeans on. He left and apologized for startling me and said that he'd been looking everywhere for a specific bag of chips that was in my cart, and he asked where I found them. I politely told him the aisle, and he said he checked but couldn't find it. So I actually led him exactly to where I found the chips. He thanked me with his awful breath, and I smiled and was about to walk back to my cart. But then he started making pointless conversation with me about why he liked those chips so much. Something silly like the ingredients or a lack of a specific ingredient. I kept trying to make it obvious that I was inching my way back to my cart. He wouldn't get the hint though. It was when he made a weird pause and then said, "Gosh, you're pretty," that I said thank you, and then I had to get back to my shopping before they close. I went to my cart, but he followed me and kept talking to me. At this point, as politely as I could, I told him I really would just like to shop in peace. He finally seemed to get the hint and walked away, but for the rest of my time in the store that night, I kept seeing that man circling the aisles, and each time he walked past the aisle I was in, he'd slow down or even stop and just look down at me. I was getting increasingly uncomfortable and hurried up my shopping. When I was finally done, I went to the checkout, and as I emptied my cart, here comes Red Hoodie Guy with a whole 2 or 3 items, and he waits on line right behind me. He doesn't say a word anymore, but I felt his gaze even through the back of my head. When I was done checking out, I pushed my cart away, and the man called out, "Have a good night, ma'am," and I ignored it. As I was unloading my car, I noticed the Red Hoodie Guy in the parking lot looking at me as he walked to his car. He got into a junky-looking Honda that must have been like 30 years old. He didn't turn the car on though, he just sat in it. I finally finished loading my car, so I got inside, started it, and began driving out of the parking lot. I looked in my rearview mirror a few times, and I didn't see any headlights behind me, so I felt safe to drive home. It wasn't until I pulled into the driveway and looked to my left down the street that I realized there was a car with its headlights off riding slowly down the street approaching our house. It pulled to the curb a few houses down. It looked to be that Honda from the parking lot. I went inside the house and called my husband's name. He came downstairs looking concerned, and I told him I was followed home by a creep. He hurried outside to the stoop, but by this time, the car was already gone. The following weekend, late at night when we were all in bed, we heard some shuffling around outside in the side yard. I shook my husband to go check what it was, and he went to slide the window open. He saw someone right below the window trying to open the side gate to the backyard, but after hearing the window slide open, the man looked up and started to run. My husband grabbed the baseball bat from under the bat and ran outside, and when he came back a minute later, he said he saw the car speeding down the street and he tried to chase after it. He perfectly described the shitty Honda that the Red Hoodie Guy was driving. It was undoubtedly him. We phoned the police, and given a late hour, a police officer arrived to our house in under 5 minutes. I described the man and his car the best I could, and that was that. He never returned to our house, not after seeing my angry husband chasing his car on foot with a bat. It still remains uncomfortable that a creep like that knows where I live, though.